Good evening and welcome to Gay Television. We've got a few minutes to go before the auction starts, so just going to have a quick chat to Paul. How are you, Paul?
Not too bad, thanks.
Now, you're the organiser of this. How many years have you been organising it?
17 years.
Wow, that's a long time. So you've...
Sorry, and we've raised nearly 275,000.
Okay, and where does the money go to?
It goes to the David Williams Fund, providing help for people who are living in poverty with HIV/AIDS.
Yep. Now, I noticed inside you've got quite a few prizes, and they're all donations from businesses?
Yes, they're all donated by businesses and myself. Right. So come out of my own pocket.
Wow, okay. So what can we expect to see tonight?
Lots of men, lots of slaves, and I hope a lot of charity money raised.
Of slaves for you tonight. We've got lots of inducements to make you dig deep in the bottom of your pocket. Our first slave up for auction tonight.
Welcome, sweetheart. Hi, how are you? I'm very well, and even better with your hand on my ass. While you're here on the stage getting dressed, Dad, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I like good wine. I'm a great cook.
Yeah, fuck that. Do you suck well?
Yes, and yes.
Fabulous. Now, are you a top or a bottom?
Versatile.
Yeah, right. $50 anywhere in the room. Do I see $50 anywhere in the room? $50 at the back. Thank you very much, sir. $60 is what I want, Graham. For this young man here, and where's the... and some Pittsburgh cum. Okay, it tastes like pineapple juice. 60 from Graham. Fabulous, thank you, sweetheart. 60 do I have? $70. Oh, you're taking your top off. $70, 60. Thank you very much, sir. The man in the white shirt at the back of the room. Thank you, sir. If you'd like to make your way down and meet your slave. There we go.
Well, gentlemen, just step forward for us here. Readjust you, so it's working for you too. This is very good to see. All right, we have two slaves here. This is 2 for 1. We can start $50. Anywhere in the room, $50. I have 100, thank you. Somebody's bid 100 straight away. Somebody 150. I have 100 looking for 150. 100 looking for 150. Oh God, I can feel the heat radiating, and that's only off Brett. I have $150 at the back of the room. Do I see 200 anywhere in the room? I have 2. Thank you, sir. $200 to my left. 2. Do I see 250? 200 is over here. You could be 250 back with you if you like. $200 I've got looking for 250. Anywhere 250. 200 I'm looking for 250. I have 200 looking for 250. 200 looking for 250. Was that 220? I'll take 220. 220, do I see 240? 220 looking for 240. 220 looking for 240. 220 looking for 240. Anywhere in the room? 240. 240. They're both virgins, in case you needed to know. Going once to 220. Twice to 220. All done, sold. The gentleman at the front, $220. Speak to these wonderful people from the David Williams Fund.
Travis, Macca. I only did that, I'll do that introduction again. Travis, Macca. Only because I can play with your nipples. Travis and Macca. So I do love boy movies. Free kick, you've got to show us your Oh, it's so cute. Oh, that's so cute, little thing. Little. That's not little. Don't subject these two gorgeous boys to Graham Stevens. $300 we've gone to twice. Will somebody rescue these boys? We're looking for $350 anywhere in the room to save the children.
140 looking for 150. Anywhere in the room? I have 150 there. Thank you. 150. Is that new? Not one right at the back. Okay. 150 right at the back. 150. Do I see 160? I've gone completely. I have 180. I need 200. I have 100. I have 180 at the front. I have 200. 200. I see 250. 250. Do I see? I have two. Was that 250 at the back? I have 250 over here. 250 over here. Do I see 3? 250 looking for 3. 250 I bid looking for 3. 250 looking for 3. Anywhere in the room 300 I bid. 325 I bid at the front. 350 anywhere in the room. 350.
Let's go 6 now.
Actually I should buy you for David. He's up on the farm. He's got 17 acres that need ploughing, amongst other things. Alright, 325 I bid at the front looking for 350. Sold at $325. Thank you, sir.
I'm standing outside the laneway with the manager of the Laird Hotel, Mark. Mark, welcome.
Good evening, thank you.
Now, Mark, we're almost to the end of the slave auction tonight.
Yes.
How's the night been for you?
It seems to be running quite smoothly at the moment. A few technical hitches to start with, but we've sorted those out. The money that seems to be raised at the moment going quite well with the water polo team and so on, bringing in a nice touch. I've seen the remaining of the contestants, and I think we'll be finishing on a little bit of a high, which is good. Mm-hmm. With the Laird and so on, Brett and I have only been here for 3 months. The one thing that we do focus on is a lot of the community events. With our barbecues that we have and so on a Sunday, it's a gold coin donation to David Williams Fund. For the Laird, we basically stick to the one charity and support that. There's a little bit of history with Bill Saunders, who owns the Laird and so on, with David Williams himself personally. So it is a charity that we hold in high regard, and we'll just continue to support.
Great. Okay, so a worthy cause.
It is a very, very worthy cause indeed, yes.
Our next one says the Melbourne Surge Gold Water Polo Team. All 7 of them. Good God! Whoa. All 7 of you. Oh, dear me. Now, Laurie, I'll let you put the armbands on the whole 7 of them. Except the one on the end, you can probably put it around his cuff by the look of the lunch here. They're giving 1 hour's cleaning away in caps and speedos to the winning bidder. Okay. 140, do I have 160? Sitting at 140, we've got 160. 180, 200, 220. 220, do I have 240? Sitting at 220, 300. Sitting at 450 at the moment, do I have 500? Sitting at 450 at the moment. Would 2 of you like to kiss or something?
We are.
Are you going to do a blowjob? Disco mat art.
Just so you know what you're getting.
Okay. So we're sitting at 450 down the front here. Lovely. Look at that. 500 at the back of the room. Thank you, sir. 500, do I have 550? Sitting at 500 at the moment, do I have 550? Sitting at 500 at the moment, do I have 550? Sitting at 500 at the moment, do I have 550? If we can get 700, 650 at the moment. Do I, 650 at the moment, do I have 700? 700 will see undies. 700 will see undies. We've got 700! Here we go. Now, where's the one who wasn't wearing any undies? Oh, she's still got her pants on, poor love. What's your view like from back here? Oh, a Calvin Klein G-string. How gorgeous. How beautiful. Oh, and some Aussie bums. A couple of no brands. What are you, England? I can't read the label. Oh, Boss. Hugo Boss. There we go. 750, looking for 750 anywhere in the room, sitting at 700 at the moment. $700 once. $700 twice. It's gone for $700.
Don't leave me this way.
With Priscilla Mania still in full swing, as promised, we bring you part 2 of our chat with Tony Sheldon, where we reminisce about his early career and the ups and downs of growing up in a showbiz dynasty. Now, you did mention your showbiz family, and you really are probably part of one of the biggest dynasties in Australia of show business. And you started off, at about,
Seven.
Seven,
I was
yeah?
seven. I was regular on the Graham Kennedy IMT.
Yes, there's always that much played bit of footage of you in the carty with Graham singing.
Yes. Oh, would you like to swing on a star?
Yeah.
Yes.
Strong memories? I mean, have you got clear memories of that era?
Could have been yesterday.
Yeah.
Yes, very much so. It was strange. I mean, every Wednesday you just got taken out of school and you'd spend a whole day cramming, because kids were only allowed on television until 10 at night for child welfare laws. And Graham's show started at 9:30, so they had to shove me on doing everything in half an hour. And I would sing and I'd do a comedy sketch and I'd dance and do a commercial and, a few somersaults and bang, and then 10 o'clock, whack, you're in the car park. It was full on every Wednesday, and the rest of the week I was expected to lead a normal life. That was very hard. That was very strange. But it's the family business, and it's what you do. And it was very much a work thing. I didn't hang out with those people, with Rosie Sturgis and Joff Allen and Buster Fidesz and Graham and Bert. It was very professional.
So, was Graham kind to you as a child performer?
Graham didn't like children. Okay. And I'm told there was... he came and stayed at our house for a weekend. No. And Mum was terrified because she said, stay out of his way. And I'm told that, absolutely unbidden, I made him breakfast in bed on his first morning and turned up with the...
You crawler.
You crawler, absolutely. I had his number, and I turned up with the tray, apparently, with the terrible flour and the terrible burnt toast, and he was charmed and said, Tony can do anything he likes on the show, so...
Oh, you won him over.
I did.
So did you get into that basically through your mum's relationship?
It was a birthday present because Mum was a star on IMT. Yeah. Dad was a producer at Channel 9, and it was one of those things that when I was 7, that Colin Bednall, played by Sean McAuliffe on the telly movie, I believe, said, would Tony like to sing a song on his 7th birthday, because that was the legal age for kids to perform.
Oh, right.
And on my 7th birthday I was in Brisbane, as it happened. Mum was working, so I did In Brisbane Tonight and sang Swinging on a Star with Mum, and it got such a response that everybody said, well, let's do it as a duet with Graham, and we'll show Graham in a different different light, working with kids and all that. And I did that as the one-off, and they got mail, because I was the only child working on primetime television late night. There was Brian and the Juniors, Swallows Juniors and stuff during the day, in the afternoons, but there were no kids on telly late at night. And it caused such a sensation that I was offered a contract, and it opened the door for a lot of other kids. Cheryl Gray, who then had a career as Samantha Sang, who became a pop star. Quite a lot of kids, and they actually started to bring in kids' nights. So I started a trend. I opened the floodgates, and then I got sacked when I was 9 because I started to get up myself.
I did read this. Yes, I was going to ask you if that was true. So
Yeah,
you were
absolutely
sort of
was.
for a couple of years.
I was sent to boarding school, and because I think deep down I was pretty unhappy with it. It all. I wanted a normal life. I was craving a normal life like the kids at school had.
Well, I was going to ask you, I mean, boarding school, was that a sort of character building experience for you?
Not for me. It was a character destroying experience for me. I didn't understand it. I thought I was being punished the entire time. Why am I here? Why aren't I allowed to go and be around the glitz and glamour? Because Mum was doing theatre at the same time. She was doing musicals, and so I'd be allowed to go backstage and see these fabulous shows all the time. And then suddenly, bang, you're in a school where everything is football. Well, I couldn't play football. I wanted to be out there, watching the dances. So school was a misery for me every single living day of it, and I was in boarding schools both in Melbourne and Sydney almost the entire time from the time I was 9 right up until, and I actually left. I didn't do my final year. I ran screaming from the building and said, look, I'm ready to work now. I can do this. And my dad died in the middle of it when I was 11, and we were on tour with Oliver at that point. I was in Oliver as one of the kids. I was allowed to do Oliver during my school holidays. And then smack in the middle of all of this, my father died. And I wanted to be allowed to go on tour with my mum. And the boarding school headmaster said, no, the best thing for him now is to be among kids his own age. Well, that was a disaster, total disaster. Because it was even more punishment. Off went my mother to parts unknown with all those fabulous showbiz people, and there I was, left with no parents at all.
Now, I was going to ask you how your mum is too, Tony. How is she going these days?
She's great. She's about to hit the road. Well, she's just arrived in town today, having done a morning melodies in Geelong. But I wrote a show for her last year called The Times of My Life, which is her telling the whole story of her life. And we've got the film clips and all of those things. It's sort of a whole history of show business, basically. It's our whole family from the 30s through to now. And she's hitting the road with that next year.
So was she pleased with your judgment in terms of content, or did she have many additions or changes to make to that show?
No, we've always worked really, really well and really, really closely on projects that she invites me to be a part of. She does a lot of her stuff of her own. But this one, I wanted it to be a theatre piece as opposed to her cabaret work. I said, no, this is our theatre piece that I want you to be able to do until the day you drop. And so she was quite happy for me to structure it, and she's thrilled.
I believe that show came about because she was feeling the ravages of old age slightly, is that right?
Well, yeah, I mean, she's 75 now, which has no compunction in me telling anybody that, but her voice is unchanged. It's sort of like Barbara Cook, who's 80 this year and still sounds exactly the way she did back in 1950. Mum's got blessed with that same thing. The voice is pretty much unscathed. Well, I mean, completely unscathed. So she can still get up and sing all those songs that she sang when she was in her 20s. And it's also that inspirational thing of, you were talking about icons. There's only a handful of those people still around who are still doing it. And it is an inspirational thing for kids to come and see the show and go, wow, I could still be, if I could work towards that and still be doing that, when I'm her age, that's a really exciting thing.
Now, your mum has done everything pretty much, but what really impressed me was when she played a lesbian witch in Number 96, circa 1972. Now, do you have any recollection as to whether she had any reservations about that role?
She was petrified because she had nude, and she had to do a devil worshipping scene alone, naked, where she had to pray in front of an upside down crucifix and say the Lord's Prayer backwards. She was so frightened, and she on the day of the shooting, they even shot two versions of it. They shot one with a goat's head rather than the crucifix in case they got edited banned, and she had all her friends all around town saying the Lord's Prayer forward on the day of the shooting, sort of like to counteract anything terrible that would happen. But she was more frightened of the nudity than anything, because she just turned 40, I think, and she was also worried that all my mates at school were going to be seeing her bazookas. And so I remember the day it got shown, and I went in to school the next day, and all the kids at school said, "Sheldon, your mum's really hot." She was so relieved. All her fears about the devil worshipping went away. Just she knew that her breasts were perky. A pair of norks, pair of pert norks win the day.
Yeah, the dreaded nudity clause in that show. I mean, I talked to Hazel Phillips about her lesbian role in the show, and she wouldn't do the nude clause at all. You worked for Cash Harmon later, didn't you, in the unisexes? Oh my God, yes. I'm just wondering. I mean, they sort of tended to go for the trashy at the, for the thrill of it. Did you have any sort of experience of anybody in the unisexes getting upset about that?
No, because the unisexes was a 6 o'clock time slot.
Yeah.
So we were all pretty safe, and it was fairly racy that it was about a commune with men and women living together. And, the raciest thing that happened in that was that a man and a woman were sharing a room, and like at the end of the first episode, they got busted by the landlord. And of course, it turned out they were secretly married. But the thing was, I wanted desperately to do number 96, because that to me was the pinnacle of show business. And I was 16 or something, 17, and I was offered a role, and it was in the final year of the show, and my agent wouldn't let me do it, and I said, why can't I be in number 96? She said, "Darling, they turn everybody gay in that show." I said, "No, my character's this boy from Wollongong, and he's a farm boy." No, darling, my agent said, "They do it." And I remember going to Cash Harmon's offices, and they were having their Christmas party, and I barged in, the audacity of youth, and said, "Can you assure me that this role is, up on the up and up? Yes, it'll all be fine." And I crying in my agent's office, she said, "No, darling, I'm not going to let you do it." And it went to a boy called Stephen McDonald, I remember, and I sat clenched teeth watching Stephen McDonald do this role. And within 4 weeks, he was seduced by Joe Hasham.
Good old Joe. He got everybody on the other side of the fence, didn't he?
He did, and I think the boy jumped off a cliff or something. The character, not Stephen McDonald.
That'd be right.
So my agent was right.
Now we're getting the wind up. Just very quickly, wanted to ask you met your partner Tony almost 20 years ago.
No, longer than that, 1979, 28 years we've been together.
Wow, that's something in terms of a showbiz relationship and a queer relationship.
Tony Taylor, he started off the Pram Factory down in Melbourne, so he was in the original production of Don's Party and Toast to Melba and the Hills Family Show and all those iconic shows. And his first show in Sydney, he was brought up to do the Venetian Twins for Nimrod, and we've been together ever since. Yeah.
Wow. There must have been stresses in that time, were there?
Of course there are. It is extremely hard, and I think especially for gay people, it's extremely hard because you're not married, and there's different pressures that go with two guys, especially two guys trying to make a living in a very competitive thing. We've overcome it, and. We're happier than we've ever been. So I highly recommend it.
There you go, boys. It can happen.
It can happen.
Have you ever been involved in any activism, or have you done it through your acting work?
I've done it through my acting work. Yes, I've never had any problems with being gay, but I've always sort of just quietly got on with my life, really. But I think by playing the roles that I have, and you can do a lot of good through theatre, and even with Bernadette, I get mail from young gay guys saying, there's a lot of positive stuff happening up on that stage that gives me a lot of reassurance.
Well, that'll get the word out more than a politician sitting there, won't it?
Yeah. So now if we can just get the politicians to come around with the equal rights thing, because it is terrifying to be, in my 50s and having lived with somebody for nearly 30 years, and you have absolutely no rights and no acknowledgement of being a first-class citizen in this country. It's terrible. It's terrible.
Indeed. I mean, I would imagine your mum, having been around showbiz people, most of her life. I would imagine she was fairly supportive when the time came for you to tell her.
Oh, absolutely, and her only worry about Tony was that he wouldn't have any talent. She just didn't want to bring somebody in the family who she was going to be embarrassed by. As soon as she saw him perform and saw that he's a wonderful writer, she embraced him with open arms, and they're at home right now, probably plotting some project together. Yeah.
Well, he proved himself. He was worthy of the family.
He certainly did.
Well, Tony, look, I think you've got to be somewhere and to do something else.
I've got to go and put on my eyelashes and my corset.
Look, enjoy the season. You booked through to March, I think.
To March, and then we're getting kicked out of the theatre, so we can't extend past March. So yes, do come and see the show. You will regret it if you don't.
Well, I think you have truly deserved your iconic status. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Cheers. Priscilla, Queen of the Desert the Musical, is playing until March 2008 at Melbourne's Regent Theatre. And tune in next week when we hope to bring you the opportunity to win a double pass to see the show.
Mm.